What compliance process changes when my company reaches 50 employees, and what should I do to prepare before we reach the 50 mark? And so I just made a couple notes because this is a little bit of a challenging question. And the answer is that there are definitely some compliance situations that do pop up when your company reaches that 50 employee mark. And so I'm just going to go back, rewind what happens before 50. So in Iowa, when you have 4 employees, then Iowa's employment discrimination laws kick in, which is different than the federal discrimination laws, which kick in when you have 15 employees. So in Iowa, it's 4. Once you do get 15 employees, then you have to deal with pregnancy discrimination, genetic information non-discrimination, Americans with Disabilities Act, and then that's when the federal discrimination laws step in. And you might think, oh, well, if I have less than 4 employees or less than 15 employees, does that mean I can discriminate? It's not a very good strategy. I would suggest not trying. So I strongly suggest having hiring processes to help you be compliant, whether you've got 2 or 200 employees. Once you get to 20 employees, now you have to worry about being compliant with federal age discrimination and COBRA benefits. So age discrimination laws are a very important thing to keep in mind. During the last AMA, people asked, what should I do if I have to terminate an employee who is in a protected class? And my answer at that time was just presume that everyone that is in your staff is a protected class, because either they are or they will be. So age discrimination, if you are 29 years old now, guess what? You're going to be 40 one day. And that's when age discrimination becomes an issue. So when you have 20, you have to worry about age discrimination. You also have to worry about providing COBRA benefits if you offer benefits, which oftentimes you are at that level. And then also too, in Iowa, you are now subject to Iowa's Mini WARN Act. I'll talk about that in a moment. Then when you get to 50 employees now, you are responsible for providing FMLA, which is the Family Medical Leave Act. There are a couple extra rules that come with FMLA. They have to be within a certain geographic distance, but we'll save that for another conversation. FMLA benefits are something that you're going to have to provide at that level. And then also, too, you're going to need to be compliant with the patient protection rules under the Affordable Care Act. And so that can be a hurdle. So if you don't have an HR team, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Then when you get to 100 employees, now you are subject to the Federal WARN Act. And so what is the WARN Act or the Mini WARN Act? If your company is closing a location or terminating more than a certain number or certain percentage of employees, then you must provide certain kinds of notice. And so if you feel like you are going to have to downsize or move one of your locations and it's going to affect the employment of your company, and you have more than 20 employees in Iowa or more than 100 employees federally, then you're going to need to comply with those. And that is a longer discussion, and please talk to me about it. But that is only half of the question. The other half of the question submitted today was, what should I do to prepare before we reach the 50 employee mark? And the answer here is that you need to have solid HR processes. And so that means you need to have a clear HR employee manual. You need to have good hiring processes so that you're not discriminating in your employment practices. You probably need to understand some ideas about making reasonable accommodations for people who have special needs, including mothers who are breastfeeding and need to pump, including employees who need to sit down more frequently. There's numerous things that you want to think about. And so what I want you to do is I want you to talk to me and set up an appointment if you have 20 or more employees to talk about it. One of the things that I'm going to suggest is working with an outsourced HR department, which is a service that you can subscribe to. It tends to be very, very affordable. And so if you have under 100 employees, it is probably more affordable than having your own HR team. And then when you have 100 to say 2 or 250 employees, you probably are going to have an HR person in-house who will then benefit from working with an outsourced HR team, because it'll look like you've got an entire HR department. And so I can help you with making sure that you are compliant and also help you understand the different options available for outsourced HR. So please reach out, because these compliance steps can be quite difficult. So I did work for a federal judge for a while, and she asked me to do research for her employment law cases, because she had formerly been an employment lawyer and frequently did presentations on employment law topics. And so my research for her was studying some of the crazy things that have happened that have landed people in court. And it is so easy to create an environment that subjects your workers to possible discrimination issues, and therefore subjects you, a business owner, to discrimination lawsuits. So let's talk about how to help you stay compliant, because I don't want you to go to court. And that brings me to the wrap up here. A lot of people hesitate to talk to a lawyer because they are afraid of the cost. And therefore, instead of talking to me when problems are small and easy to fix, they wait until these problems are big. And I compare, it's easier to put out a candle flame than a dumpster fire. And the way that I help businesses deal with this is I offer very affordable and valuable subscription services so that anytime you've got a question or problem, you don't have to wait. You just reach out and talk to me or others on my team, and we make sure that your questions are addressed quickly, and then we can put out little fires while they're small instead of waiting till they get to really, really explosive dumpster fires. This is why those employment questions are so important. Please subscribe. Please hire me to be your in-house counsel, and we'll keep your costs low, and we'll keep your list of problems small, and we'll make sure that your legal fees are manageable and affordable. It's been so great talking to you today. I hope that you enjoyed the questions and the answers, and we will see you on the next AMA, which will be in 2 weeks, probably. I think that's December 15th. See you later.